So if I'm going to be world champion, I want it to be fights like this, you know, against a real solid champion.
You're going to need a body to throw back at you. You know, the punching bags don't punch back.
This will not be a Tom and Jerry situation. This will be a Tom and Tom situation.
David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, is holding absolutely nothing back. He has been vocal and merciless, putting Anthony Yarde on blast for his preparation. He spotted what he calls a big mistake in Yarde's training. The undefeated champion is already making plans for his next victims, and he's looking at unifying the division and even moving up to cruiserweight. This isn't just trash talk, it's a calculated public clowning. And Benavidez is ready to expose exactly why Yarde isn't on his level. Recently, when David Benavidez was told that Anthony Yarde does little to no sparring in his training camps,
I have another interesting bit of information about your opponent Yarde. The guy does little to no sparring. He relies on the heavy bag, you know, lifting weights, cardio, etc. What do you think of that philosophy? And would you advise that to any other upcoming prospect?
the champion was stunned. He didn't just dismiss it, he exposed it as a big mistake. For a fighter like Benavidez, this was like hearing a world-class sprinter doesn't practice running.
You were doing with three different, like
Four different guys, yeah.
That's what I've been doing every time I have my training camp. I'll do 3 different sparrings, 4 and 4. And you know, when in there, when you get the second fresh sparring, you have to adapt to your head. It helps you a lot, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Especially once you get to that third guy and you're able to adapt to 3 people.
Pop's big on the rounds.
Huh?
Pops is big on a lot of rounds.
The least rounds we did were 11. So the whole camp, 3 different sparring partners, 12 rounds.
It was a shocking admission, a flaw he couldn't believe was real. This wasn't just standard pre-fight trash talk. Benavidez genuinely sees this as a fatal error in Yarde's entire approach to the sport, and it's given him a terrifying level of confidence. Benavidez's entire fighting style is built on breaking opponents in a way a heavy bag never can.
I was never handed anything. It was never like, oh yeah, David Benavidez, he's gonna be a world champion in the future. Nobody ever said that. Everybody said he's fat, he's a fat kid, he's never gonna be world champion. The type of way I had to fight is I had to go really beat somebody up so they can never say nothing about me. And that's always how I fought, even since I was a little kid. You know, I really put everything into it because I did feel a lot of anger and I felt mad for all those people saying I wasn't gonna be anything, so I really had to show them in a different type of way. I really had to leave no doubt in their head that I really was gonna be something. That's exactly how I fight, and that's exactly how it translates. You know, every time I fight, it's a clear victory. There's no, oh yeah, I went either way. No, it's David Benavidez beat the shit out of whoever I get in the ring.
He explained that he isn't like other fighters Yarde may have faced. He brings a relentless, suffocating pressure, blinding speed, and brutal combinations that don't stop. His brutal assessment was simple: punching bags don't punch back.
I was just asking because now, like the new age people, some people say they don't spar.
Man, dude, I was just saying, dude, this is like, it's incredible. It seems like they're like future-proofing it, but at the same time, they're keeping it rugged and keeping it a gym and not losing the essence of boxing. So, I mean, it's beautiful. And like I said before, it's just love to me, you know? It's just love to me.
He believes sparring is the only place a fighter can learn the tricks and all your skills needed to survive in the deep water. Without that real-world combat simulation, Yarde is just preparing to be a static target for the Mexican monster.
I mean, to each their own, you know, I don't really know I don't really care how other people work. But for me, for boxing,
Have you ever heard of anybody?
I haven't heard that people that don't spar, but if he's not sparring for this fight, it's going to be a big mistake for him. I'm unlike any other fighter, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff I can do. I put a lot of pressure, I throw a lot of combinations, I'm fast. So if he's not sparring nobody, it's going to be hard for him to catch my speed or catch my timing. But, you know, to each their own, you know what I mean? I know I'm not going to do that. You know, I don't advise other people not to spar. You know, if anything, that's where you learn all your tricks and all your skills at in sparring sessions, because you're going to need a body to throw back at you. You know, the punching bags don't punch back. So, but if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do.
In Benavidez's mind, Yarde has no idea how to handle the storm that is about to hit him because he's never bothered to practice for rain. But that's where the psychological warfare takes a sharp turn. Anthony Yarde has heard every word from the Benavidez camp. He's seen the interviews where Benavidez talks about Bivol, Beterbiev, and his move to cruiserweight to fight Gilberto Ramirez.
In my opinion, a fight with Beterbiev or Bivol is next. You know what I mean? And doesn't know, you know, if I was a different type of fighter, I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna go talk to my team and see what's the best. No, the fights I want better be even Bivol. You know what I mean? Just because I want to challenge myself, I want to be the best without a doubt. I'm pushing to make the biggest and best fights happen, and if we can't get that, then my plan is to get a fight with Showdown Ramirez at cruiserweight. It's just like, you know what I mean? I've been calling for these big fights. You know, I've been showing that, you know, I back up everything I say.
And now he's waiting on the big top dog in Benavidez or Bivol. Yeah. If it's Benavidez, bro, talking about, he's going to be making history. I mean, he's going to make a big name and big statement.
What's the highest weight class you think David can go?
I think, you know, to be honest with you, I think he could definitely go up to heavyweight. That's the plan. And maybe when he's about 30 years old, 31 years old, that's the plan, to go to heavyweight. But we're going to keep going to this division little by little.
Yarde sees this as the ultimate sign of disrespect, and more importantly, a critical mental error. Benavidez has tried to defend himself, saying he's just answering questions honestly. But Yarde isn't buying that excuse for a second. He believes Benavidez is so blinded by his own perfect record that he's completely overlooking the man standing right in front of him. This, Yarde claims, is how undefeated fighters lose.
I feel like, again, a lot of my career has been experience. You know, so if you look at my amateur career, I had 12 amateur fights. I jumped into the professional game, and I made a name for myself very quick. I'm a person, it's like I'm doing an apprenticeship in front of the world. You know, I'm gaining experience on big stages, taking on champions that people are avoiding. And I feel like, just my opinion, I've been better each time. So with the Kovalev fight, I went out to Russia. You know, everyone was telling me, you're crazy, don't do that. But I done it. And then I had the Benavidez fight. You know, this is a guy that everyone was calling again a monster. You know, no one wanted to fight him. 18 fights, 18 wins, 18 knockouts. I fought him and I gave him his hardest fight at that point in time. So I can only take my experience that I'm getting in a positive way. And I just feel like I'll fight anybody, and each time I'm fighting these people, I'm getting better. And I personally feel like I want to beat David Benavidez. It's going to be a big upset, and at the end of the day, the crowd are going to be in for a treat, because the way both of us fight, you're guaranteed a good fight.
This leads to the most surprising part of Yarde's strategy. His losses are his secret weapon.
As you said, the Russian style, their school of boxing is very disciplined. It's very hard to get around, and in my opinion, the experience was to my detriment when I fought them guys. I think if I fought any of them again, I think I'll beat them. But they're the past. Benavidez is my present fight, and I'm very, very much looking forward to it.
He's a tremendous fighter. He has a lot of experience. This is his third time at a world title, so I know he's gonna leave it all on the line, you know, November 22nd, but like I said, you know, I like to go to war too. I'm not gonna back down from him, he's not gonna back down from me, so let's have some fun, November 22nd, let's give the people what they wanna see. Like I said, any shot could change the fight, so like I said, he wants to go to war, we're okay with that, let's go to war.
Benavidez boasts a perfect 30-0 record, but Yarde points to his own technical knockout losses against icons like Sergey Kovalev and Artur Beterbiev as his biggest advantage. Yarde claims those devastating defeats taught him something Benavidez has never had to learn: how to handle true adversity, how to deal with damage, and what it feels like to be broken and have to get back up. He's been beaten, and he knows how to handle it.
At the time, it felt like a lot, you know, because, you know, you never want to lose a fight. But there's some people who see Floyd Mayweather's career and they're like, nah, you don't know how he's gonna, you don't know who he is really because he never took a loss. And then you got some people that, you know, love Muhammad Ali, you know, they're saying, yeah, he took a loss, he bounced back. You know, it shows the true character of a champion. Me personally, I don't think you're meant to lose. A perfect career is when you're undefeated. But everyone's journey is different. My journey consisted of me having to lose to learn. And I can look in the mirror and say that at least I know myself.
He believes the undefeated Benavidez has an aura of invincibility that was beaten out of him long ago. That perfect record, Yarde argues, makes Benavidez vulnerable, and it makes Yarde the more dangerous man.
On paper, I should be a heavy underdog.
Okay.
You know, he's been world champion. And these are the things that keep me thriving. You know, I don't want to go in there and say, you know, I've got the power to knock him out. I can do this, I can do that. I want to be in that situation where it's like a dog, I need to come out of this. I need to get out of this. I feel like that's when you get the best performances out of me. But I think people that have watched my career, they know I can hit. You know, after I fought Benavidez, he said I'm up next. After I fought Kovalev, he said I'm up next as well. But again, you know, Mexicans, their styles are very, very different. They're very, very different. And David Benavidez has been, you know, you can call it almost perfect so far. And these are the things that make me thrive. I'll just be real with you. I don't want no, you know, trying to persuade the public or anything like that. The public that will watch me fight before, they know they're going to see a good fight. But I'm going to be the underdog, and I just want everyone to tune in. Again, I've taken a loss before, and I know how to handle it. So I feel like that's what makes me more dangerous in this fight. I think that David Benavidez has never lost. And I feel like sometimes I can be a bit, you know, that can be overconfident. I've seen, you know, certain interviews and when he's talking about fights after me and things like that. So hopefully he's focused for this fight, because from what I've learned from studying the sport of boxing, that's how people slip up.
And while Benavidez was busy clowning Yarde's old training methods,
you know,
a little more of the boxing.
My first, you know, with every fighter it is, it's the more intelligent thing. You'll go in there, download a little bit of information. You know, obviously if I see any openings, I'm gonna take them. But since Yarde is more of a one punch type of guy, so I'm looking to counter his shots, and you know, just to feel, get a feel to fight in the first round. You know what I mean? It's a 12-round fight. You know, it's not a sprint in the beginning, so we're gonna go in there and see. But if I definitely see some opportunities, I'm gonna take them.
he had no idea what was happening behind closed doors. Yarde was in the middle of a complete physical transformation. For the first time in his entire professional career, the 34-year-old fighter has hired a dedicated strength and conditioning coach, the renowned sports performance expert Ruben Tabares, who has worked with champions like David Haye. Yarde is now claiming he is punching harder than ever and feeling physically stronger than at any point in his life. He's experiencing shocking newbie gains deep into his career, finally conditioning his body for elite-level warfare.
Anthony Yarde is a tremendous all-action fighter, and so is Benavidez. Their records speak for themselves. I think Benavidez has 24 knockouts out of 30 fights, and Anthony Yarde has 26 knockouts. So I just feel like this is a fight where the fans will get what they've been asking for.
To be honest with you, bro, for me, every fight is personal, because, I mean, it could be cool outside and that, but as soon as I get you in the ring, I'm literally trying to implement as much damage as possible. Because if I'm not getting you, then they're trying to get me, you know what I mean? So I take this very serious, you know? I take it like every opponent I go into the ring with, I feel like they're trying to take food off of my plate, and I'm not gonna let that happen.
This all sets the stage for a dramatic showdown. Yarde is a massive 10-1 underdog. Fans and critics have openly called this a mismatch and a bronze-level challenge for a champion like Benavidez. But Yarde is feeding off that doubt. He has studied Benavidez and believes the champion's almost perfect style has holes. With his newfound power and the psychological edge of a man with nothing to lose, Yarde has made a chillingly simple vow. He isn't planning to outbox Benavidez for 12 rounds. His plan is far more direct. As Yarde himself put it, "I feel that if I land on Benavidez, the fight's done."
For me, it's like, you know, we can both hit. And I just feel like if I land on Benavidez, the fight's done. The fight, especially with the way I've been training. I'm sure he's been training ferociously as well, because he's going to want to make a statement. But I just know if I land against any light heavyweight on the planet, I'm gonna win the fight. So that's what's so exciting for me.
At the end of the day, why do you do this?
I do this because I chase greatness. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody has something special that they're meant to do in their life. What it is, you know, you have to find it yourself. For me, I felt like it was boxing. You know, boxing has given me, it's changed my life, it's made all my dreams come true, and it's helped me motivate other people in the process of that. So I feel like, you know, chasing greatness for myself and being in the history books of boxing is what I was meant to do, and also what I'm meant to do is motivate other people.
Hit him, you know, the aim of the game. Hit and don't get hit. One thing about me as well, I'm like, I know some people try and sell themselves or say, you know, I'm the best or whatever. And I feel like in boxing, you just got to prove it. You know, I'm an underdog for a reason in this fight. That's what is going to make me thrive in this fight. I feel like in boxing, you got to earn your place as well.
No, I think, you know, his recent performances, you know, who he's fought, you know, how he's fought them, people he's beat, how he's beat them. Again, there's a reason people are saying, you know, he's one of the best in the world.
We are now left with a compelling collision of strategies. On one side, we have the undefeated champion, David Benavidez, who believes his opponent has a fatal training flaw that makes victory an inevitable conclusion.
I'm 100% focused on my fighter, Anthony Yarde. I know he's a good fighter. He has a lot of experience. He's been in there with the best. But I'm just going to be too much for him. Right now, the moment where I'm at in my life, I feel like I'm a couple years away from taking over the sport of boxing, and I can't wait to do that and show the people who I am, show them how good I am. You know, like I said, there's a lot of great fighters on this side of the street, and I'm ready to fight all of them, and I'm ready to prove myself to the world and to the people that I'm going to be the best. You know, Mike Tyson's, oh man, you know what? You know, you're the Mexican monster. So I was like, damn, Mike Tyson is giving me a nickname. I might as well stick with it. You know what I mean? So.
On the other, we have the battle-tested underdog, Anthony Yarde, who believes that same champion is too blind with overconfidence to see his own downfall approaching.
Of course, I just feel like it's embedded in me. It's my character. And I will always be a person where I take on the biggest challenge for myself. I don't want to be that person where you look back and you say, what if? Yeah. You know, that's a fear of mine. So some people, it's their fear to actually go and challenge, you know, big things. For me, a fear of mine is looking back and saying, what if?
Is Yarde's new power really enough to deliver the one-punch shocker he has promised? Or is Benavidez's relentless pressure about to expose the hard, painful truth that punching bags, in fact, do not punch back? So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.